That stuff's gonna look great, guys. Now I'm gonna spin this log so we're not dealing with all of these inclusions on our beginning cuts. So we'll get up to the upper end of the log there and just shave this back to whatever we can get out of the end of this guy. These logs are 8 feet long. These trees are still pretty green, so they definitely have a lot of sap on them. Let's see if I can get the flattest part of this section to lay down for us. That's pretty good right there. Should make it a little easier to mill, and hopefully we're not wasting too much due to the way the tree is grown. Get these guys out of the way. It's been a while since we've got to mill some cedar, guys. This stuff's going to look really good for us, I think. So our first cut is going to be coming right in here, the 9-inch range. I've got this thing setting in pretty thin. And I did go ahead and put diesel fuel right out here on the edge of the teeth on both top and bottom of the blade. That way I'm not getting diesel fuel setting on the flat part of the blade to where it can mess our drive wheel up and our belts, but it still gives the teeth enough to get through all the sap in these cedar trees. Makes it a little easier for me to cut. So we'll see if we can bring this line across right through here, and we'll probably have another live edge board or so as we start working our way through all of this stuff, because that's not going to flatten out for us. Let's make our first cut and see what happens. There's very little taper in the log, guys. I just simply put a 1/2-inch shim down here on this end and the log setting on square. Well, we walked right through that stuff, guys. Starting to get down to a little bit of heartwood here. And that doesn't look too bad on the top side. Every time I mill some of this material, the smell from it is unbelievable. That's why everybody likes to line their closets with it. Alright. I think I'm going to make one more pass. We still have a little bit of inclusions down here in the end of this, so hopefully that'll get us down to a flatter board. And you can see we get a waistline right here that's pretty narrow. But we'll be able to at least get a 1x off of this now, and then trim off the bark line and still have something we can use. Let's make another pass on it. We're down to it now, guys. Look at that. Grab our broom. And again, we can take this bark layer off if we choose to and have a perfect 1x4. Or leave this as a live edge. That'd be a nice board. That squares this up. Let's flip the log over and see what the other side looks like. I'll leave that leaning up just a little bit, so I can make sure there's no bark or any dust laying underneath these logs when I flip them over. That'll give us a square cut as we get down to the bunk now. This one's got some deep bark lines in it, but it still should look good. Let's see what it's going to do for us. That was our bark cut, guys. Nothing to speak of there. Then our next 1x, we will do the same thing. Bring this down to a 1x4. That material's starting to look fantastic. And that's what you have to worry about with cedar. When they have this many branches growing out of them and bark inclusions, a lot of times you're going to have a hole where the branch has grown through, and it'll work its way all the way down through the log. So at that point, I will just trim back on this if I don't want to leave that, and then make this into whatever material we can use out of it. This will be another one right here probably. Flip the board over so you guys can see it. Right along that line there. See what that top cut looks like. And that's brought us down to a 6-inch cant so far. On this side, yeah, look at that stuff. And that hole's working its way right on down through there. That's okay. We can work around it, or if you was doing a live edge table or something, you could epoxy into that. All right, we're going to roll it and get this thing squared up. I'll bring you guys back when I have that done. So we've ended up with a nice 6x6 squared up here, and I can continue to mill this down now, but I think I'm going to leave this size, and I might use this for a post for something. Well, that'd make an outstanding beam inside the building or something like that. So until I know that I need to cut some more off of it, I'm going to leave it the size it is. You can see the character this thing has. And out of this particular tree, we still have another 8-foot log we're going to be able to mill. And then we'll have 2 smaller diameter logs that come off the top side of the tree that was 16 feet as well. So we ended up with 32-foot logs off of these 2 cedar trees, and it will yield quite a bit of material for us to use. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you ever get a chance to use the Sthil 661, that chainsaw absolutely will rip through these trees. They're a little bit heavy, but on the other side of that, once they start cutting, the saw's holding its own as far as the weight goes. That thing is a pleasure to use. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you on the next one.